Hey guys, welcome back to the Agoge Show. I'm Nick Kumalatsos with the Agoge, and I'm joined here with my business partner, Josh Hansberger, and Coach Joe Luplow. And we're going to talk about the juicy subject of performance-enhancing drugs.
He's my favorite kind.
AKA steroids. I've talked about this so freaking much, about the difference between TRT and what steroids are, because in my mind they're two totally different things. Is it both synthetic testosterone? Yes, but there's ways of it's different.
It's abuse and health. There's two different things. There's
that's a great way to put it.
Abusive way to run steroids, and then there's I'm doing it doctor monitored, healthily, for the benefits of just being. My overall general health is better. So
real quick to caveat this whole conversation before we get into all the different drugs and and Joe's got a wide range of knowledge about the subject.
You say that.
And but listen, at the end of the day, if you have nothing wrong with you, nothing is wrong with you. You've lived a really easy, cush life. You're in moderate health. At the age of 30, your testosterone is going to start declining. Like that, at that point, it is going to be on the downslope. It's just part of the aging process. It's the way it works. Am I saying you necessarily need to be on TRT at the age of 30? No, it's not what I'm saying, because it needs to be based off of your blood work and your symptoms. So outside of aging and the natural decline of testosterone, well, you have what's called type 1 and type 2 hypergonadism. Did you know this?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So type 1, type 2 hypergonadism. One is, and I might be, you can look it up, Mario. I might mix them up. But type 1 is actual damage to your gonads. So like John had what they called a brownout. He had a prepare yourself. He had a
This is public.
Yeah, this is public. He had a skateboarding accident.
Skateboarding?
I don't know exactly what happened.
Okay.
Pole, skateboard, something.
Got it.
Split his sack. His testicle came out of his ball sack, down his pants, and down to his sock. It unrolled that far.
How does it hang that low?
And
That's a lot of string.
There's a lot of string. So he just said it unraveled, basically.
He's rolling back.
It's like ball of yarn, you go grab it and it just keeps getting further and further away from you.
Anyways, so that's a damage to your testes that's helping produce testosterone and sperm and delivering it to your vas deferens, et cetera, the endocrine system. Type 2 is damage to your pituitary gland in your brain. So that's what's signaling. It's sending the signal to your testes to produce testosterone and then provide it to the rest of your body. So if you have either one of those things on top of you being 30, well then, and you have the symptoms of lethargic, your bad recovery, bad sleep, weight gain, brain fog, etc., then you need to get your blood work, because you're probably a candidate for testosterone replacement therapy. Testosterone replacement therapy is literally the dose that you need to make you optimal, not average, because fuck average. Like, who wants to be average? You don't want, and everybody's like, well, I just want to be here. I'm like, well, let's talk about average.
So for optimization, but it's not pushing you past that threshold into
like staying within
a little more of a
dangerous
dangerous
boundary.
zone.
Yeah, you're staying within.
So get you to 900 to 1,000, and then really the biggest point is look at the blood work, because the blood work tells a story. But the biggest thing is, what are the symptoms? Did it alleviate symptoms? And a lot of people are like, well, I have a good testosterone level, and maybe you didn't know this either. But you have a good testosterone level, but you still have all these symptoms. And then we pull these guys' labs, and their sex hormone binding globulin is garbage. So it's like they have like a 800 testosterone, but their SPHG is all messed up. And so it's like having a Ferrari with 4 flat tires.
Right.
Great. You have a great car. Can't utilize it, because that's the delivery vehicle for the utilization of testosterone. And so it's very important that you get with somebody like Core Medical, because this is monitored. You get a human being that is going to monitor your levels, and give you the appropriate things. And maybe you don't need testosterone. Maybe you just need some enclomiphene and some HCG to get things started, lose some weight, and then we can go from there. Maybe a little peptide before we get on the TRT process. And or if you're with a clinic who's just giving you testosterone, like the VA, they give you this will blow your mind.
Creams.
First of all, let me talk about the cream.
About that already.
Yeah, let me talk about the cream. Cream is an insurance product. This is the reason why endocrinologists use it. One, it's a big pharma product that the pharmaceutical reps go into these doctors' offices and sell them this cream, which then they get kickbacks on selling that cream. And the other thing with insurance is a lot of times, a lot of insurance companies will dictate your protocol versus the doctors dictating your protocol.
The fuck do they know about?
To maximize
profits.
Their return on profits.
Their return on profits, yeah. So they want to use their products, their protocols, their things. So a lot of times that's the reason why. So anyways, so the VA will give a guy, say, 200 milligrams of testosterone, no ancillary medication.
That's a problem too.
200 milligrams every 2 weeks.
Not enough. No. Not enough.
So in what's
absorption rate, delivery, you're probably not.
Your half-life cycle of testosterone cypionate.
It's like 10 days.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So like they probably week 1, like 3 days into week 1, they probably feel great. Mm-hmm. Week 2,
crash.
You feel like dog shit. So it's like, to me, it's almost malpractice that they're doing this.
You have peaks and valleys.
Yeah, that you're just doing this to people, and you're like, every other week I'm having a depressive week, and I'm lethargic, I have low energy, etc. Because you're not managing them at all. Anyways, this is the reason why we work with somebody like Core Med. So it is. So I want to preface this whole conversation with, there's a rhyme and reason for it too, in a very, very healthy way. But the problem is most people look at the cost, and this is crazy because to me, like, health is wealth. Like, stop spending money on fucking beer and cigarettes and your Netflix subscription and all this shit that doesn't give you a return on investment, and invest in your health. Because I can't afford it. I'm like, okay, like, this is a creative issue, not an afford issue. Because it's not affordable? Type 2 diabetes when you're 55 years old. Mm-hmm. Like, that shit will get expensive, and the quality of your life is shit too. Anyways, I digress. But what people are saying is, oh, just don't do that. I got a guy in the gym who knows a guy who will get me some stuff.
Yes,
and
a guy just in an alley somewhere.
It's usually, I think it's the locker room at Planet Fitness.
They don't do steroids at Planet Fitness.
No way.
Yeah. Well, I would say Gold's, but Gold's isn't around anymore. So what's the new gym? What's the new bro gym? Lift gym?
Metroflex.
Metroflex? Is that a chain?
Oh yeah, dude. Branch Warren, Ronnie Coleman started the one in Arlington.
Yeah.
How many do they have now?
Oh, there's shit. There's one in North Dakota.
No shit.
Yeah. All over California.
Yeah. Gold's
still around.
Gold sold. No, they sold to.
Still called Golds.
Who do they sell? EOS?
Fuck, I don't know.
They sold to something, and they all started switching over. But in the 90s, Gold's was where it's at, man. That was
like the pinnacle. I mean, because you had Arnold and the Mecca and yada yada. Yeah. Gold's Gym, and was it California somewhere.
Anyways, so steroids, good or bad?
I mean, goal dependent based on the person's willing to risk their health.
Okay.
So if somebody, let's say, is chasing a world title as a strongman, you're gonna have to blast if you want that world title. Like you look at like.
You telling me there's no natural strongmen?
I'm not saying that at all, because there absolutely are.
Are there really?
I don't know any.
I don't know any.
Competing on that circuit,
compete at that
level.
Okay.
I mean, I don't remember the exact numbers, but they did a study when they asked a ton of Olympic athletes if they could guarantee themselves a gold medal, but it would shave 30 years off their life. It was like something like 80%.
They were like,
said like yes.
Yeah. What
they were willing to roll that. That's because that's their vision, their purpose, their drive. Yeah. Everything in them is like, I'm training for this one event.
And if I can achieve that, who gets
it's worth it? If it's worth to you the cost, it's good, because that's what you want to do with your life. You're your own human being. Make the decisions you want, but understand the consequences at the same time. Don't be ignorant to them. And if you can still make that conscious decision to do those things to your body, put those things in your body to achieve that goal, then cool, man. Do it as safely as possible. But I mean, probably gonna die soon.
Back in
But
your,
that's not saying that if you take steroids, you're going to die. I'm just saying
back in your old hobby, you ran stuff, right?
I ran gnarly cycles, man.
How did you do it safely?
What were you working towards? Let's maybe preface it with
strong-
like what
strong-
you
Yeah, I
were
was
doing,
strongman.
like, what,
strongman.
like,
I was 100 kilo strongman.
Yeah.
I was chasing a world to a world level. Like I was pretty strong. I was pretty strong in
No, you said in another video you did what, a 390?
a 390 stone.
390 stone?
Yeah, but that's even at the amateur level. Like the top tier amateur guys at 100 kilos. I mean, we got it, but I mean, a handful, like 4, 5 out of like a whole, competition. Like
to me, a 390-pound stone sounds heavy as shit to me.
Yeah, but I'm
not moving that thing.
And then the thing is I was blasting hard. Like, and genetically, I'm just naturally, I was pretty strong already. I had a good structure. I grew up playing, Texas football.
How much was your weight at that height? At the height of your
226 was the heaviest I got at 5'9". But I was still around 10% body fat or so.
Wow.
I was jacked.
Big man.
I was pretty big. Yeah.
That's a big man.
A lot of food and a lot of steroids. So I went and found a doctor. And this was not a hormone specialist at all. I just went and found a doctor who says, hey, I'm a competitive strongman. I'm going to take this, and this.
You just straight up told him.
Yeah. And I need you to basically put me in for labs and just monitor my blood, monitor my hormone, just make sure I'm not dying. He's excited about it because I was kind of a case study for him. Super great guy.
Let's see if this guy kills himself with steroids.
Well, he would like, hey, like there was points where like, hey, dude, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
And I'll get to that. So I would do my blood work like that to make sure I'm good to go.
Yeah.
And then I would start my prep, maybe 16 weeks out. I'll just, I'll bump up my testosterone. Maybe I'll throw something else in there. And then when I get a little bit closer, maybe about 12, 11 weeks out, I would start adding other hormones, other hormones in. I'd get my blood work done again just to make sure that how hard am I going to push this? Not that it, honestly, at that point in my life, it wouldn't have mattered. I still would have pushed it. And then probably about 5 weeks after that on, when I implemented the Trenbolone, the Halo test and all that kind of stuff, I would go again just to see where I'm at. All right, cool, I'm not dying. So I'm gonna press it a little bit more because my side effects were tolerable, absolutely not desirable. I'd fight anybody, anywhere.
Well, what were the side effects?
Super irritable. Super irritable. Very.
And then the third one is
super irritable.
Violent, probably. We would go ahead and escalate into violence.
Were you with your wife at the time?
No.
No?
No.
Well, that's probably a good thing.
No. So, and I would just get blood work done, pretty steadily through a cycle because of how hard I ran.
Yeah.
And I mean, I got to the end of that cycle and not the end, about 3 or 4 weeks out when I got my blood work done before that last show, he kind of came in. He's like, hey, this is the worst I've ever seen, blah, 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 blah. And I still rolled the dice. I finished out the cycle.
What was the indicators in the blood work that he was concerned about?
Tell you. I don't even remember. No, I don't remember. It
warranted enough for him to
it
watch you throughout
enough
this
for
duration.
him.
And finally, he's like, "Hey, man."
And at that
because
point,
he saw it decline, he's like, "You're going to be okay. Just don't. Just you're going to come off soon." He's like, "Yes, sir." And I did. I came off. I mean, defined.
So how long were you on where he kind of said, "Okay, Joe, let's take the foot off the gas"?
From that point, another 3 weeks, which wasn't insanely long, but I mean, it gets to
no. How long had you been on?
Oh,
before you got to that point.
I mean, I would probably start my blast about 16 weeks out by just increasing my testosterone and maybe some oral in there, which is relatively mild. And then I would start implementing other things like I might throw some MPP in there for a little while just to kind of help build some more muscle tissue over the course of the prep. And then while still running maybe Anavar or something like that just for a little bit more fluff. But then it was about 8 to 10 weeks out is when I would start adding the really harder compounds like the Trenbolone. 4 weeks out, I would add a Halo testing, and the thing is, like, it was all trial and error. I treated myself like a guinea pig.
I was gonna say, when you ran, did you make horse sounds?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
Thuds on the floor, man, like thunderous.
I ran EQ before too, and so like there was, and I had done this cycle multiple times. It's just every time I would just add a little something somewheres.
Yeah.
And so, in order for I took Caberline for a good minute to help me mitigate my temper from losing my temper with the Trenbolone.
What is that?
It's a dopamine antagonist. It's an oral. You just take it. It's not a steroid, but it's something that you take that just helps your. It helped me not blow up.
Yeah.
And which actually helped me. I can genuinely say it helped me when I ran Tren. But when I implemented halo testing, dude, that's a totally different comp. I had no control of that. And I know some guys will say, well, I was like, well, motherfucker, I'm speaking for myself. Some guy might have been able to do just fine with that. I wasn't. I didn't care. I mean, I'd rip a toilet seat out of the ground, dude. I was like, that's mentally, I was like ready, and that was the
that was the mission.
That was the mission.
Level of that competitor.
Because that's where I wanted to go to that level. And so anywho, I came off, got my blood work done, and then I went back down. I pyramided myself down on the testosterone. I dropped the Tren and the Masteron and the Halo test and all that stuff pretty abruptly. But then I was scaled down my testosterone so it wasn't just a complete crash. And then maybe 6 weeks later, I got blood work done again, and everything was getting better. Everything was getting back into a more normal range.
So, Joe, don't worry, you're going to live. You're going to be okay.
Yeah, essentially.
You're real healthy.
So, like, I say all that to say, like, just get blood work done.
Yeah.
Don't abuse it like I did because unless, that's the goal. That's what you want to do. You're willing to roll the dice and because you want to achieve
I think it's important. I don't know if we said this in another video, but I think it's important that the people you see, like, listen, I like John Cena. I think I like him. I like John Cena.
I don't know. I know who he is, but I don't fucking know him.
I don't like that he wears cargo shorts.
I could never see him.
That's the problem. That's a very, very common joke.
What?
But nonetheless, he's talking about him being natural.
Oh, that fucking drives me nuts. Like, just be transparent. That's the thing. Just be transparent. Like, even The Rock, like, maybe, but probably not.
No.
No. But, like, he'll claim it. Or what's that other guy's name?
I mean, dude, John Cena's what, 40?
Mike O'Hearn.
40?
Mike O'Hearn. This the other dude.
Mike O'Hearn.
Like, he's natural. Like,
he's in our network.
Yeah. So if you hear that, sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, Mike. But you're not natural.
I don't think he's natural. But, I mean, at the same
time,
I don't know.
John Cena rocks almost 50. John Cena's 40-something years old.
Somewhere in there.
Like, you're not maintaining that kind of muscle mass not being on at least TRT.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, those guys are massive, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, why are you lying to people? Like, I tell people all the time. They're like, dude, yeah, but you're on TRT. Like, dude, I was on TRT when I was fat, too.
Yeah, it's the old thing you go back to with that picture that you showed. Yeah. At the end of the day, you still have to fucking eat.
I was on the same protocol on both photos.
In order to optimize any of this you're talking about.
Yeah. Same exact protocol.
Yeah, the TRT is not a magic pill.
No, nothing's going.
That's what people.
You still have to do the fucking work.
You got to eat right. We just talked about recovery, right? Yeah. So recover to the most optimal point that you can. Eat as well as as you can. Continue to refine that process so that way, if you are using a clinic and you are on TRT or whatever it is that you're on, you're actually optimizing that third party.
That's what I want, man.
Right? I want to
optimize my whole life. Like, why would you not want to? I don't understand. Why would you not want everything just to be fucking optimal as hell? Your relationship, your health, your physical fitness, your body composition, your ability.
A lot of that leads to testosterone.
Right.
A lot of that's
right.
The hormones.
People are saying, like, Nick, how do you run 3 businesses and all these different people and have a family and train 8 times a week and et cetera? I'm like, fucking TRT.
I have to work on human optimization. I get my shit together.
Yeah, I've come off. I've come off TRT. Like I came off for 8 months to have IVF with Dimitri. I didn't know that I needed. I could have not come off, but with the place I was at the time, before Core, they're like, yeah, just come off, bro. I was like, that was
like a moping dog.
That was like the dark ages, man. I went through like 8 months of dark ages.
That's what you were.
And you did that too.
That's what you were prior to.
Yeah, and you just don't realize.
You just didn't realize.
Yeah, you didn't realize how shitty your life.
This is just the way life is. I just have to be on the struggle bus all day long.
I came off. Tristan and I was getting my stuff checked out a couple years ago, and I came off. I didn't really have any problems coming off. Like, everything still worked up fine. I got blood work done. Everything was fine.
Mine was more lifestyle. It was just like my drive. My drive went to 0. Like, my recovery went to. I would do one calisthenic workout and be sore for 3 weeks. Like, I was in a bad way.
I didn't have that.
Yeah. I mean, but then again, I've had some I've had some brain shit.
I was going to say, kind of talked about this on another one, but like we've had some literally documented shit that has shut down our factory.
Yeah, I think that like when I originally went on TRT at like 31, I think my testosterone was like a 91 or something like that.
Oh fuck, dude!
Yeah, I was jacked up.
That's like bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
As much as guys are willing to disclose with us, obviously, like we were running guys that were getting out about the same time we were getting out. All the team guys that we had, those of them that did go to get everything checked out, I don't think. My recollection is I don't remember anybody over like 3.
Nobody was over 300.
No, I don't think anybody was over 300.
None of our guys that we went to that clinic with were over 300.
We're speaking dudes that literally just got out of the teams running high capability, capacity, workload, efficiency, right? They weren't shitty at their job.
Yeah.
Right? They were operating at a high tempo.
100%.
But it was like that old perseverance through optimization, you know, and dudes would come back, and I don't think I saw anybody over 300.
Nope.
And they were, what, 30?
Yeah.
32?
Early
Was
30s.
that
right?
Why?
Why?
Fucking stress.
Stress.
Stress, concussions,
adrenal
explosions.
concussion, yeah.
Right? Like literally shutting down all of that shit and then compounding a lot of that stuff on it. Shitty sleep, shitty diet, probably drinking it
years,
a fuck ton.
For years.
For years, running hard.
That's
and
a
then
lifestyle. Yeah.
you don't.
So almost everyone at least had type 2 hypergonadism.
Yeah, then the VA wants to give them 200 milligrams every 2 weeks. Go fuck yourself.
Just go, and then with no HCG, no clomiphene, no anything else.
Nothing else to help you.
Nothing else to help you.
But
So
I beg to differ. Anybody who wants to ask questions, pay the money. Like
At the very least,
go
get
get your blood work looked at.
Well, I tell people all the time, like I have a link in the description. It's like, go book an appointment, have a no-cost conversation, have your initial conversation, no cost, and that way you can make an informed, and then get the data and make an informed decision for yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go from there.
Or get blood work.
Or get the blood work, see the results.
Yeah, I would always
talk to a clinician.
That's one thing that him and I always talked about. Like, I wish at 18, when I joined the military, I had a full 27-panel blood test
hormone,
every single year, so that we could have documented every year, every deployment, every single thing that's ever happened to us. And you would have seen a dip right when certain things, like his injury. I had a deployment in 2009 where I got my head cracked really good. And there was a big decline after that 2009 deployment in my health. And it would have been cool to know, you know, pre and post, like the year 2008 blood panel, 2009 blood panel. Oh, this is where it's at.
Big traumatic events happen.
Yeah.
Massive amounts of stress. Let's say you're not even in an operational capacity, but you have something that in your life that's super stressful, that's super taxing on you.
That's gonna affect your hormones. Your endocrine
You're probably not
system.
going to catch it soon enough to go get it done right at that moment. But you know, like somewhere in there, go get your blood work done. If just something in life is stressing you the fuck out.
But real quick, before we get off, I want to talk about the black market stuff, because I've said this in another podcast with Sidney Gordon and Mel Chansey, and we've talked about it like at thing. But they did a batch test on specifically testosterone cypionate. That was black market testosterone.
Same lab.
What do you mean?
Did it all come from the same lab? Okay.
Yeah. And it was positive for tren. And apparently it's because
Tren kills COVID.
I think it probably does, and other things, but nonetheless, it coming out of China, the same, But the thing is, it's over there. It's cheaper. It's cheaper to produce, so they're actually putting tren, and it's mixed with other shit, but you're not getting actually pure testosterone cypionate. And their point is, Mel was talking about this. He's like, the black market testosterone that you see today is not what was in there like the 70s, 80s, and 90s. They were saying like to be honest, the testosterone cypionate you would get from a doctor back then versus the black market was same shit,
pure.
Probably coming from the same place. But now the people that are creating the testosterone cypionate powder overseas, China, in those labs, is the same labs that are actually making fentanyl. And he's not saying that
everything has fentanyl in it.
That your black market shit has fentanyl in it, although
it could.
Right. How do you know? Not saying that necessarily is what's happening, but it's in the same laboratory.
Cross-contamination, quality control.
Exactly. So like, why like, in my point, like, why, depending on what age, what you're going for, like, why risk it? Like,
you're going to pay for it anyways.
If you're a dad, a father, entrepreneur, business owner, and you're just like,
if you were to buy it on the black market, you would have to test it yourself, and that in the end you're going to end up spending the same.
And then you're not with a doctor, so you're not getting blood tests, you're not getting actual a right protocol. You know what I mean? Like, dude, just do it the right way. Yeah. Invest in yourself and be a fucking monster, bro. Like, become a monster, you know, in your own way. So, anyways, that's my rant on testosterone. But at the end of the day, like Joe said, get your fucking blood tested. Just get a blood test. Get it every year. And you don't have to get on, but at least have the 27 panel blood, and not your GP's blood panel where they test like your freaking triglycerides and your cholesterol and your A1C, and then that's it. Like, they test like five things and they call it a blood test. No, get a real blood test. 27, 28 panel blood test. You're testing for metals. You're testing for your entire endocrine system, everything under the sun. Like, pull the fucking hood up and rip everything out. Let's go look at it. So, links below if you want to get a blood test. Have a no-cost conversation. And, yeah. Steroids.
Yay or nay. You decide.
Make the education decision.
Make the education decision. All right. Guys, if you have questions below, please drop them in the comments. We want to see your comments here. All the coaches watch these episodes, and they're all there to answer your questions. And if you want to get into the Agoge, the link is below for that as well. Get in the room. Peace.
Later.